Welcome back, renegades and everyone else and other individuals that might stumble upon my channel and support it. So, I have been going back and forth debating whether I should react to Tom Macdonald. Because given that he is right-leaning and I am left-leaning, there is a high chance that I'm going to disagree with a lot of the messaging that Tom Macdonald expresses in his music. And I've been debating whether I wanted to do that or not. But a big part of me is social advocacy. A big part of me is diving into politics. A big part of me is to talk about my beliefs and views and have these debates. I do this on a TikTok. I hold debate lives. I invite people for conversation. So I put myself in this regularly to dive into the controversy of it all and to talk about different opinions. So given that, I'm not going to shy away just because I know there are going to be fans of Tom Macdonald's who are going to be like, but I like him, I like his message. That's fine. Everybody is entitled to like who they want to like. But I'm also entitled to express why I might disagree with what is being said, how I think that it could be harmful, more so than beneficial. But I also want to be fair. I don't want this to just be a video trash talking Tom Macdonald. I want to be fair and I want to look at the musical elements of him as well. I want to be fair. So what I'm going to do and how I'm going to structure this is I'm going to take a listen and I'm just going to focus on the musical elements to begin with. And I'm going to make an honest judgment of his musical ability, of how he raps, and just judge him on that to begin with. And then afterwards, I will look at the content. I will look at the messaging in its lyrics. And I will give my honest opinion, which means that if I disagree, I disagree. I'm not going to hide the fact that I disagree because we need these conversations. I see so many YouTubers in the reaction community scared and afraid to talk about politics because they're worried of what that they'll do to the people that support them. And that's fine. They can go down the avenue and they can be quiet all they want. But I'm not that person. I am loud. I am honest. And I don't keep my mouth shut. And yes, that's going to be controversial. I'm going to get people that don't agree with what I'm saying. That's fine. I'm going to get people that don't like what I say. That's fine. When you dive into the world of politics, you don't do it with the idea that you're going to befriend everyone because that's not how the society works. You do it because you wholeheartedly believe a message and you want to portray that. I stand by all the beliefs that I have. I stand by the values that I point out. I stand by what I advocate for. And I'm not going to shy down and I'm not going to sit down or be quiet because some people might not like it. That's not how this world works. So, without further ado, this is going to be a political type, but merged with music because believe it or not, music can merge with politics. And given that we are leading up to the American election, the US election, I think that it's relevant to talk about the politics of today and advocacy. But I also might extend that even after the election, because after that there will be the Canadian election as well. But even when there is no election, these things are still worth talking about because these are things that actively impact people in our day-to-day. And I think that we should be able to have civil conversation. And I do plan in the new year to start working on my other account, which is the Emily Talks, which I haven't really spent much attention on so far because I'm in school and, I've been focusing on this channel. I do plan to open up that channel and start uploading videos talking about social issues, giving my commentary, all that kind of stuff. So if you want to, have a head start to that and get in the game before I start opening that up, look up Emily Talks with a Z. And you'll find my political channel. I already have some debates of my TikTok lives that I've done previously. But yeah, I think that when politics merges with music, we should talk about it. We should be able to express ourselves. And who knows? I probably will react to quite a few of Tom Macdonald's stuff just because I think it'll be interesting to hear what he has to say and to have that conversation and have that dialogue. But anyway, without further ado, we're going to get into Tom Macdonald's Fake Woke. I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see. I'm sure this is going to be having a lot of interesting messaging. But anyway, without further ado, let's go. Hold on, I gotta turn the volume on. Give me 1 second. Okay. Let's begin.
I think it's crazy I'm the one who they labeled as controversial, and Cardi B is the role model for 12-year-old girls. There's rappers pushing Xanax at the top of the billboard, but if I mention race in a song, I'm scared I'll get killed for it. It's backwards, it's getting exponentially dumb. It's more difficult to get a job than purchase a gun. Eminem used to gay bash and murder his mom, and now he doesn't want fans if they voted for Trump. We're ashamed to be American. You should probably love it, cause you have the right to hate it and not get stoned to death in public. As children we were taught how to walk and talk, but the system wants adults to sit down and shut up. Cancel culture runs the world now, the planet went crazy. Label everything we say as homophobic or racist. If you're white, then you're privileged, guilty by association. All our childhood heroes got Me Too'd or they're rapists. They never freed the slaves. They realized that they don't need the chains. They gave us tiny screens, we think we free cause we can't see the cage. They knew that race war would be the game they need to play. For people to big teams, they use the media to feed the flame. They so fake woke. Facts don't care about feelings. They know they won't tell me what to.
Okay, as I said, we're just focusing on the music right now. On the musical element, I will give it to Tom Macdonald that this is fire in terms of musical ability. Like, in terms of the rapping, in terms of having, like, a sick hook, which is what we're entering into. I mean, it fits. It fits. I'm vibing. If I'm like not paying attention to what's been said, I'm vibing. So I will give him credit for, he's clearly skilled at what he does. He clearly knows what he's doing. So I'd say, all right, fire. He's got skill. Musically, he has skill.
Crazy how these people screaming facts, but they fake woke. Hate their neighbor cause he wears a mask or he stays home. Has a daughter but his favorite artist said he slays hoes. Picks her up from school, music slaps on the way home. Censorship's an issue cause they choose what they erase. There's a difference between hate speech and speech that you hate. I think Black Lives Matter was the stupidest name, when the system's screwing everyone exactly the same. I just want to spend Thanksgiving Day with food and my family, without being accused of celebrating native casualties. We got so divided, it's black and white and political. Republicans are bigots, libtards if you're liberal. There's riots in our streets and it's just getting worse. Y'all screaming deep on the police, y'all are genius for sure. They're underfunded already, they're way too busy to work. Order food and call the cops, see what reaches you first. Segregation ended, that's a lie in itself. That was a strategy to make us think they were trying to help. They knew that racism was hot if they designed it to sell. We buy up every single box and divide us ourselves. They so fake woke. Facts don't care about feelings. They know they won't tell me what to believe in. They so fake woke. Same old safe zones. They so fake woke. Facts don't care about your feelings. We use violence to get peace and wonder why it isn't working. That's like sleeping with a football team to try and be a virgin. Politicians are for sale and someone always makes the purchase, but you and I cannot afford it. Our democracy is worthless. If a man has mental illness, call him crazy, say it silently. When country's going crazy, we accept it as society. Get sick and take a pill. When the side effects get you high, you get addicted like these rappers dying fighting with sobriety. Censoring the facts turns our children into idiots. They claim it's for our safety, I'll tell you what it really is. Removing information that empowers all the citizens. The truth doesn't damage points of view that are legitimate. They're trying to change amen to amen and women. How'd we let them make praying a microaggression? Instead of asking God for the strength to keep winning, we cheat to get ahead and then we ask him for forgiveness. Feminism used to be the most righteous of fights, but these days it feels like they secretly hate guys. I don't trust anyone who bleeds for a week and don't die. I'm just kidding, but everything else that I said is right. They so fake woke. Facts don't care about feelings. They know they won't tell me what to believe in. They so fake woke. Same old safe zones. They so fake woke. Facts don't care about your feelings.
Alright. Well, like I said, hold on, we'll get to the end. Give it fairness. right, so like I said before, fire beat. It is a fire beat and it is a fire tune. So this guy clearly has talent. There's clearly edge. So to all the Macdonald fans that find this, he is talented. I will give him that he is talented. Okay, now, now that we got the musical part out the way, okay, I got the lyrics up. We're gonna dive into these lyrics because I think that, you know, I will say I did think that it was gonna be worse. I thought that it was gonna be worse than it actually was. So it was not as bad as I thought that it was going to be. And actually, there were some things that I don't think that I necessarily disagreed with, but there are some extra maybe context to be given or elaboration. So we're gonna go through the lyrics here. So I think the first one is, I think it's crazy I'm the one who they labeled as controversial when Cardi B is a role model for 12-year-old girls. Sure. I think that's I think basically a lot of this is talking about the hypocrisy, you know? And if we're talking about the over-sexualization, sure, I don't think that, you know, having that as something to encourage for or to be encouraged to be is necessarily something that you want. However, there are very different things that you could be controversial for. So, like, you both can be controversial, right? So there's rappers pushing Xanax to the top of the billboards, but if I mention race in a song, I'm scared I'll get killed for it. Okay, so this is a big thing that I find within, like, the right, that they think that if they just mention anything, that they're gonna get killed for it. That I disagree with. I think that there's a line between being able to talk about race in a constructive way versus putting out things that could potentially be harmful for someone. So I think that, like, we have to understand that when we aren't experiencing certain oppression, certain discrimination, certain harmful things, we are in a point of privilege. So we have to be mindful of the things that we say because we're not within that community that it could be harmful for. So, like, but that doesn't mean that you should be so terrified not to say anything. It just means that you have to be cautious. And if someone says, hey, we don't like what you're saying, this is harmful, to be like, okay, I didn't know about that. Like, it's not bad to be like, to make amendments and to adjust and to improve whenever you say something that is incorrect. I think that there's lenience. And I think that a lot of people, at least that I'm surrounded by, or at least that I think that are out there, are not going to completely hang you if you say something that's a little out of kilter. What they want is they want to educate you to be better. That's the goal, is to educate you to always be better, because at the end of the day, we want to minimize harm. We don't want to, you know, exaggerate harm. It's more difficult to get a job than to purchase a gun. I don't know if I agree with that. Now, I do know that that Tom Macdonald is Canadian, so he could be responding to the gun laws in Canada. However, I think that I read somewhere that he was also that he lives in America now, and he lives in America. So just comment down below if anybody knows if Macdonald is American or if he's Canadian. I'd be intrigued to know if what he's responding to, because I would disagree with necessarily that, because I mean, unless somebody can provide me with evidence and sources to back up that jobs are more difficult to get than to buy a gun, because I know that it's pretty easy to buy a gun. The research that I've done, it's very easy to get a gun in America. So I don't know how accurate that is, but anyway. And he says Eminem used to gay bash and murder his mom. And now he doesn't want fans if they voted for Trump. Okay, so I think there's a difference between having a bad past versus now. I think that those aren't comparable, right? Like, I think people see hypocrisy as like, oh, you used to be something and now you're different. That's not hypocrisy. That's changing. So if we're looking at Eminem, and I know there's a big issue with Eminem as it pertains to you know, him endorsing Kamala Harris. that, you know, there's a big outrage of fans, right? But the thing is that people will make mistakes in the past. We should be able to grow and improve. That's not hypocritical. So if you had a racist past and you have a homophobic past when you were young, but you've done really, like, you've put all your eggs in improving to deconstruct this racism, to deconstruct this homophobia, and you're now, you know, putting out to the world, you know, a better you, and to because you've recognized where you went wrong. That's not hypocrisy. That's just developing as a human. So, like, I don't know why that like commenting on that is necessarily a bad thing. Like, all he's showing is that Eminem grew as a human. He moved past his homophobic ways and is now, like, is a better person, right? And I think the majority of this song is, like, talking about hypocrisy. And which I find interesting. And I'll say this at the end. We're going to get this because I have something on hypocrisy that I will want to air, but I'll get through this. So, what is it? So, we're ashamed to be American. You should probably love it because you have the right to say it and not get strung up in public. I mean, sure. I mean, the freedom that you have in America is more so than in other countries. But anyway, as children, we were taught how to walk and talk, but the system wants adults to sit down and shut up. I don't know if the system wants you to shut up and sit down. I think they just want you to be cautious and pay attention of what you say, because there's freedom of speech, sure. But what good is that if you're using that freedom that you have to cause harm to someone else? Why would you want that? So it's not saying that you can't express yourself. It's just saying it's being mindful that what you say could harm other people. And, like, that's something you should care about. Everyone should care about that. If you are saying something that could hurt somebody else, you should have the empathy to care about that. And the fact that you don't is just a little concerning. Cancel culture runs the world now. The planet went crazy, labeling everything we say as homophobic or racist. Okay, I don't know if everything is labeled homophobic or racist. I mean, I think that's an exaggeration, right? Like, I'd love to know what he's specifically referring to. So, like, what is he wanting to say that people are saying is homophobic or racist that he thinks isn't homophobic or racist? Because I don't know of anybody that's going to label something as homophobic or racist unless they actually believe that it's homophobic or racist. And, like, I would question that if you don't think that it's homophobic or racist, maybe you don't understand the historical context in which what you're saying has been used in a harmful and negative way, which is why it is considered to be homophobic or racist. Sometimes lack of education means that you don't understand why something is harmful, okay? But anyway, I mean, like, again, I'd love to know where he's getting that from. So if you're white, then you're privileged, guilty by association. Our children heroes got Me Too, or they're rapists. I don't really get that last line, what he's trying to say, but if you're white, then you're privileged. Well, we do have privilege, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're guilty by association. I think there's a difference between acknowledging the privilege that you have as maybe a whitey person, or as a cis person, or as a you know, as a straight person, right? And then feeling guilty for the things that you did not commit. Those are two very different things. I think that acknowledging that you come from a point of privilege, and because you come from a point of privilege, you have a perspective that differs from those that are in marginalized communities. And because you have that different perspective, you're not going to be aware of all the harm that they face and all the things that affect them in a negative way in their culture. And that's not a dig at you for not knowing. Like, no one is blaming you for having whitey privilege. I think this is a difference. When we say that you have whitey privilege, or when we say that you have cis privilege or hetero privilege or whatever that's not criticizing you for having that privilege. That's making you aware of your differing perspective on things. because this makes a difference in how you interact and what you might think is offensive or not, right? Because of the different environment that you're brought in because of the color of your skin, right? And I think that I think that we all need to just clarify what we mean, because clearly there's a miscommunication. If you think that we're trying to make you feel bad, that's not the case at all. That is not what we're doing at all. What we're doing is educating and bringing you aware so you understand. That's all. So they never freed the slaves. They realized that they don't need the chains. They never freed the slaves. Okay, I'm not sure what they mean by that. I think he means that, I wonder if he's referring to workers who are like working in jobs that they're slaves. I don't know. I don't want to assume that that's what he means. If anybody knows what he means by that, let me know. They gave us tiny screens. We think we free because we can't see the cage. Oh, I think that maybe he means that we're slaves to the system. Which, okay, that bit I might agree with to some extent. I think that the control that the government has over the people is exponential. And that I think the freedom that we think we have isn't entirely truthful. So that I would agree with to a certain extent. They knew that race war would be the game they'd need to play for people to pick teams. They used the media to feed the flame. The race war. Okay, I don't know, like, we have to understand who perpetuated the race war. Like, let's be real. Like, who started the race war? They so fake woke. Facts don't care about feelings. They know they won't tell me what to believe in. They so fake woke. Same old safe zones. They so fake woke. Facts don't care about your feelings. So, okay, so now this I think is a bit about the hypocrisy of people pretending to be woke but not actually being woke. And then saying that facts don't care about feelings. That I agree. Okay, this is the thing. Facts don't care about feelings. I agree with that. Facts don't care about feelings. The problem is, in my opinion, one side is prioritizing facts over feelings more so than the other side. And it's not the Republicans that are doing it, in my opinion. So, like, you want to talk about prioritizing facts over feelings, I agree with you. Then you have to be honest about which side is actually doing that and which side is not. I think it's crazy, all these people screaming facts, but they fake woke. Okay, they're screaming facts, but they fake woke. So that I'd like to know who exactly he's referring to. Because I feel like this might be a dig at, like, maybe people in the media who's pretending to be, like, progressive, but not actually. I wonder if that's what he's referring to. Hate their neighbor because he wears a mask or he stays home. Okay, so that's about COVID. I'm not even going to get into COVID. I have my opinions about that, but I won't get into it. Has a daughter, but his favorite artist that he slays. So I think now we're at Eminem. I wonder if this is, like, something to do with Eminem. I don't know. Picks her up from school. Music slaps on the way home. Censorship's an issue because they choose what they erase. There's a difference between hate speech and speech that you hate. There's a difference between hate speech and that I will agree with. I do agree with that. There is a difference between hate speech versus things that you just don't like. I do agree with that. I think Black Lives was the stupidest name. When the system's screwing everyone exactly the same. Okay. That I don't know if I agree. I mean, you can disagree with the name Black Lives Matter, but that was coined for a very valid reason. Because it was in response to discrimination within the police, right? And how the police target individuals differently because of the color of their skin. right? That's a very real thing. There's a disproportionate amount of targets towards black individuals than white individuals from the police because of race. So, like, we can't ignore that very real discrepancy because that exists, right? You as a whitey person, this is the privilege that we're talking about from early. You as a whitey person can leave the house and are more likely to not have to encounter the negative consequences of running into the police that a black person might have to if they leave the house and get in contact, right? There is a very clear bias and a discrimination. That doesn't mean to say that everybody in the police thinks that way, but it's very apparent, right? That there is this type of disparity that we have to acknowledge. So when we're saying that Black Lives Matter, that is a response to the black individuals that were victims because of the police brutality. White individuals are not dealing with that in the same degree. You know, I challenge anybody to find me pieces of evidence, any piece of evidence that shows that white people are just as much of a target of police brutality because of the color of their skin that black people are. You won't, because statistics do not point to that direction. But anyway, so whether you want to discredit the whole, group for other things, fine. But the name I think has validity. Anyway, I just want to spend Thanksgiving with food and my family without being accused of celebrating Native casualties. Oh, so Thanksgiving Day. Now, I don't really know the history about Thanksgiving. I'm sure there's an issue with, like, indigenous individuals. Well, I mean, sure. But, I mean, for indigenous people, this is hard for them, right? And you have to respect that. You can, like, enjoy it if you want. That's fine. Because you have the privilege of being able to enjoy it. Because you do not have a history of having been, screwed over, right? Thanksgiving is painful for natives because it's a reminder of how their land was stolen, was colonized. So, anyway, I'm pretty sure that's why. I'm pretty sure that's why it's considered bad. I don't know. Maybe someone can correct me on that because maybe I'm thinking of a different date. But I'm pretty sure that's why it's Thanksgiving Day is sensitive. But anyway. Let me know. We got so divided, it's black and white and political. Republicans are bigots. Libtards if you're a liberal. I mean, not every Republicans are bigots, but a huge proportion of them are. Typically especially those that fall under the MAGA umbrella. These are extreme individuals who do have bigoted opinions. And Trump is a bigot himself. So I think, like, that's just facts, like stating the obvious. You can't criticize anyone for calling out people for what they are. Trump is a bigot. That's what he is. He displays all of the qualities to be a bigot. So, I mean, I'm not sure, like, what is inaccurate about that statement. But anyway, I'm sure Macdonald fans will be all up in my comments telling me why I'm wrong. But, that's just fact. Anyway, y'all screaming defund the police. You're all a genius for sure. They're underfunded already. They're way too busy to work, order food, and call the cops. See what reaches you first. Now, as far as defund the police, I don't know about the efficacy of defund the police. I know that what they want is to redirect resources to, like, social programs. But I don't know. I don't know if I necessarily have opinion on that, so to say. Segregation ended. That's a lie in itself. That was a strategy to make us think they were trying to help. They knew that racism was hot. If they designed it to sell, we'd buy up every single box and divide us ourselves. Okay? They so fake woke, fakes. Well, this is the chorus again. Just say the chorus again, and then we say, we use violence to get peace and wonder why it isn't working. They use violence to get peace and wonder why it isn't working. Okay, what violence are they using to get peace? So clearly this is directed, I think, at the liberals. I'm intrigued to see, like, how are the liberals using violence to get peace? Please explain that to me. Because I think if anybody is using violence, it's not the liberals. That's the Republicans. That's what they're doing. So where is this violence coming from? That's like sleeping with a football team to try and be a virgin. Huh? Politicians are for sale and someone always makes the purchase. That I will agree. Politicians are for sale. That I do agree with. But you and I cannot afford it. Our democracy is worthless. Okay, I somewhat agree with that. If a man has a mental illness, call him crazy. Say it silently. When countries going crazy, we accept it as society. Okay, I don't know what we're referring to. I don't know if this is a dig at trans individuals or not. I have opinions on that myself too. When get sick and take a pill, when the side effects get you high, you get addicted like these rappers dying fighting with sobriety. Censoring the facts turns our children into idiots. I do agree. Censoring the facts does that, but again, who is really doing the censoring here? They claim it's for our safety. I'll tell you what it really is. Removing information that empowers all the citizens. The truth doesn't damage points of view. They are legitimate. They trying to change amen to a man and woman. They trying to change amen to a man and woman. I'm not quite sure what he's trying to say here. They're trying to change amen to a man and woman. It seems like he has an issue with religion, but maybe I'm incorrect. Like, I'm confused as to what he's trying to say in that line. Again, if you know, let me know in the box. How do we let them make praying a microaggression? When has praying ever been considered a microaggression? Can someone tell me when praying has ever been seen as a microaggression? Like, what is he referring to? Like, I'm confused here. Instead of asking God for strength to keep winning, we cheat to get ahead and we ask him for forgiveness. Feminism used to be the most righteous of fights, but these days it feels like they secretly hate guys. I mean, sure, you can argue that there's a certain group of individuals that do hate men and don't even hide it, but we have to think why, though. We have to think about why do they have these strong opinions, you know? In a history of the patriarchy, in a history of the men consistently doing whatever they want to women, controlling, demeaning, criticizing, abusing with no consequences, of course that's gonna lead women to have a bad taste in their stomach, right? So, like, if we're getting to the point that women are hating men, then maybe men need to do something differently so that women aren't hating them. Maybe that is a you know, trying to get you to acknowledge things. Maybe that's trying to, like, point something out to you. All right, they so fake woke facts, and then we've got the chorus again. So, again, it seems to be something about hypocrisy. A lot of things to talk about. So I'll finish this video because I've gone on quite long. This is longer than I thought that it would be. But hey, we're talking about things that are important. So one thing about hypocrisy that I'll just finish with, I think that it's funny when the right talk about hypocrisy. Because in my opinion, they are the most hypocritical of them all in their stances and their beliefs. They are the party of law and order, but are voting for a criminal and a felon and an SA abuser. They are pro-life, but then advocate for weapons that systematically take life. They, again, claim to be afraid of immigrants because of the crimes that they commit while voting in a violent offender themselves. And it seems to me, if you're not American, you don't get, exceptions. As long as you're American, you could do whatever the fuck you want if you're American. They don't give a shit. But if you're not, now we have a different story. And I think that, we have to recognize this, okay? They are the party that want to claim to be facts over feelings, okay? But they don't deal with facts. When you put facts in front of them, they look away. When you put facts in them, they'll find any way to deny it because of their feelings, right? They're the party that says facts over feelings. But when we give you facts to prove, the validity of trans individuals or the validity of LGBT or how they're being oppressed or all of that, they don't like it because it hurts their feelings. They feel uncomfortable about it. Oh, I'm uncomfortable. Even though facts dictate the validity of them. They invent problems where there are none to suit a narrative. That's what I see on the right side. That's what I see from Republicans. And I think that it's really funny that the Republicans are going crazy at Eminem for supporting Kamala Harris. Because they said, all about freedom of speech. Like Macdonald has said, freedom of speech, guys, freedom of speech. Okay. So then why are you all freaking out when Eminem exercises his his right to have freedom of speech, to then voice that to support the Democratic Party? Why are you all now having a meltdown? What, because the rapper that you used to join isn't what you thought that they were, right? Even though historically it has been known that he has supported the Democrats consistently. So when we're on the topic of hypocrisy, I think it's important that we look at this objectively and factually and think, okay, who is really the party that's hypocritical here? Because I think because what I'm getting, this happens more on the right side. But hey, that's just my 2 cents. It's interesting. I will give Tom credit. I think that musically, he created a great song musically. He had edge to him. He had fire. He had a good chorus. I will be reacting to more of Tom. I think musically he is talented, but we do have to talk about these messages because, it's important that we look at what the facts are and not what our perception says it is. But anyway, this has been a long video, longer than I thought. I do appreciate you for joining in, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.